Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly close to my heart, and one I get asked about all the time: veterinary school. Now, I know many of you watching are dreaming of becoming a vet, or maybe you're just about to start this incredible and incredibly challenging journey. I remember being in your shoes, filled with a mix of excitement and, let's be honest, a whole lot of anxiety. I had this picture in my head of what vet school would be like. Mostly cuddling puppies and kittens, with a little bit of studying on the side. The reality, as you can probably guess, was quite different. The path to becoming a veterinarian is one of the most rewarding things you can do, but it's also one of the most demanding. It tests you in ways you can't even imagine, academically, emotionally, and physically. There's so much I learned along the way, not just from textbooks, but from late-night study sessions, challenging clinical cases, and moments of self-doubt. These are the lessons that don't appear in any curriculum, the unspoken truths of vet school that you only really understand once you're in the thick of it. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, I've put together a list of the 5 biggest things I truly wish someone had sat me down and told me before I walked through those lecture hall doors for the first time. Think of me as your friendly upperclassman, here to give you the real, unfiltered advice that I hope will make your journey just a little bit smoother. We're going to cover everything from study habits to the emotional toll of this profession. So grab your notebooks, get comfortable, and let's get into the 5 things I wish I knew before starting vet school. The first thing, and maybe the most important, is understanding the sheer volume and pace of the curriculum. You've likely excelled in your undergraduate studies to even get here, but vet school is a completely different beast. The amount of information you're expected to learn, understand, and retain is staggering. It's often compared to drinking from a fire hose, and honestly, that's not an exaggeration. In the first few weeks, you'll feel like you're constantly behind, no matter how much you study. It's a relentless pace that doesn't let up. This is why you have to treat it like a marathon. You can't cram for a vet school exam the way you might have in undergrad. It's just not possible. You need to develop sustainable study habits from day one. This means consistency is key. Studying a little bit every single day is infinitely more effective than pulling all-nighters before an exam. Your brain needs time to process and consolidate this complex information. Burning yourself out in the first semester is a real danger and something I saw happen to many of my classmates. You have to find a rhythm that works for you and stick to it, even on the days you feel exhausted. Pacing yourself also applies to your mental and emotional health. This journey is long, typically 4 intense years, and you need to protect your well-being. Schedule breaks. Make time for hobbies that have nothing to do with veterinary medicine. See your friends. Sleep. I can't stress that last one enough. Sacrificing sleep for an extra hour of studying is a losing game in the long run. It impairs your memory, your judgment, and your mood. Remember, your goal isn't just to survive vet school, it's to thrive and become a competent, compassionate doctor on the other side. And that requires taking care of yourself throughout the entire process. When you bring a group of high-achieving Type A personalities together, it's natural for a competitive atmosphere to develop. We all got into vet school by being at the top of our class, and it's easy to carry that mindset with you. But here's the secret. The person sitting next to you in that lecture hall is not your rival. They are your most valuable resource, your support system, and in many cases, your future colleague. The sooner you realize that collaboration trumps competition, the better your experience will be. I can't tell you how many times my study group saved me. We'd spend hours in the library, quizzing each other, explaining complex physiological pathways, and just commiserating about the workload. Someone would always understand a concept that I was struggling with, and I'd be able to explain something that was confusing them. We shared notes, we shared resources, and we shared the emotional burden. This collaborative environment makes learning more efficient and a lot less isolating. You're all in the same boat, navigating the same stormy seas. Why not paddle together? This sense of community extends beyond academics. Your classmates are the only other people on the planet who truly understand what you're going through. They get the weird inside jokes about anatomical parts, the stress of a practical exam, and the emotional roller coaster of your first euthanasia. These are the people you'll celebrate with after a tough exam and lean on after a difficult day in the clinic. The bonds you form in vet school are unique and can last a lifetime. So make the effort. Introduce yourself, form study groups, and be a supportive classmate. Your journey will be infinitely richer for it. We go into veterinary medicine because we love animals and want to help them. It's a profession born from compassion. What they don't always prepare you for is the immense emotional weight that comes with that compassion. You will be exposed to difficult situations on a regular basis. Sick and suffering animals, heartbreaking euthanasia procedures, and clients who are grieving the loss of a beloved family member. This concept, known as compassion fatigue, is a very real and serious issue in our field. It's the emotional and physical exhaustion that comes from the constant demand of caring for others. I remember my first euthanasia. It was a sweet old golden retriever who had been a family's companion for 15 years. I held it together in the room for the family, but afterward, I had to find an empty room and just cry. You feel the weight of that family's grief. You feel the loss of that beautiful animal, and you might even question your own actions. These feelings are normal, but they accumulate over time. You have to develop healthy coping mechanisms to process these emotions. Ignoring them or bottling them up is not a sustainable strategy and can lead to burnout, anxiety, and depression, which are unfortunately very prevalent in our profession. It's crucial to acknowledge these feelings and talk about them. Find a trusted friend, a family member, or a mentor you can confide in. Many vet schools now have mental health resources and counselors available specifically for students. Use them. There is no shame in seeking help. Learning to build emotional resilience is just as important as learning surgical techniques. It involves setting emotional boundaries, practicing self-care, and understanding that you cannot save every single animal. You have to learn to process the grief and celebrate the victories, no matter how small. Your longevity and happiness in this career depend on it. This might sound counterintuitive, but one of the biggest lessons I learned is that being a great vet is as much about communication with people as it is about medical knowledge of animals. Your patients can't tell you what's wrong. They can't describe their symptoms or tell you where it hurts. All of that critical information comes from their owner. You have to be an excellent listener, a careful observer of human behavior, and a skilled communicator to get the full story. The client is your most important diagnostic tool. Think about it. You need to build trust with a client, often a complete stranger, in a matter of minutes. They are worried, scared, and sometimes dealing with financial constraints. You have to take a complex medical situation with all its jargon and uncertainty and explain it in a way that they can understand and make informed decisions from. You need to present options, discuss prognoses, and manage expectations, all while showing empathy and professionalism. This is an art form, and it's a skill that requires constant practice. Poor communication can lead to misunderstandings, non-compliance with treatment, and a breakdown of the vet-client-patient relationship. You'll encounter all types of clients: the anxious first-time pet owner, the experienced breeder, the person who sees their pet as their child, and the person who is struggling to afford basic care. Each one requires a different approach. Learning how to navigate these conversations, how to deliver bad news with compassion, and how to work collaboratively with owners is a massive part of the job. So, pay attention in your communication labs. Practice with your classmates. Learn to listen more than you speak. Your ability to connect with the person on the other end of the leash is what will elevate you from a good clinician to a truly great one. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the money. Veterinary school is, honestly, incredibly expensive. The tuition, the fees, the living expenses, it all adds up to a staggering amount of debt for the average student. I went into vet school with a vague understanding that it was expensive, but I didn't fully comprehend the long-term implications of that debt until I was already deep in it. The sticker shock is real, and the financial stress it creates is a significant burden that you carry with you throughout school and for many years after graduation. The difficult truth is that veterinary salaries, especially for new graduates, have not kept pace with the rising cost of education. This debt-to-income ratio is one of the biggest challenges facing our profession. It can dictate your career choices, influencing whether you can afford to take an internship, specialize, or work in lower-paying but critically important fields like shelter medicine or public health. It can delay life milestones like buying a house or starting a family. It's a heavy weight that you need to be prepared for. So what can you do? First, be as financially literate as possible before you even start. Understand the different types of loans, interest rates, and repayment options. Create a budget and stick to it as best you can while in school. Look for every scholarship and grant opportunity you can find. Every little bit helps. And have a realistic understanding of what your starting salary might be and how you will manage your loan repayments. It's not the most glamorous part of becoming a vet, but ignoring the financial reality is a mistake. Being proactive and informed can help you manage the stress and make smarter decisions for your future. You're sitting in a lecture on advanced pharmacology, and the professor is explaining a mechanism that sounds like a foreign language. You look around, and everyone else seems to be nodding along, diligently taking notes. In that moment, a little voice in your head might whisper, "I don't belong here. Everyone else is smarter than me. They made a mistake admitting me." That feeling, my friends, is imposter syndrome, and I guarantee you, almost every single one of your classmates is feeling it too, even the ones who look like they have it all figured out. Vet school is designed to challenge you. You are constantly being pushed to the edge of your intellectual capacity. It's an environment where it's impossible to know everything. There will be questions you can't answer, skills that don't come easily, and days where you feel completely overwhelmed and inadequate. This is a normal part of the learning process. The danger of imposter syndrome is that it can make you believe these temporary feelings of inadequacy are a permanent reflection of your worth and ability. It can stop you from asking questions for fear of looking stupid, or prevent you from trying new things for fear of failing. Recognizing imposter syndrome is the first step to overcoming it. Remind yourself that you were chosen for this program for a reason. You are smart and capable and deserving of your spot. Talk about these feelings with your peers. You'll be shocked to find out how many of them feel the exact same way. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Did you finally understand that tricky ECG? Awesome. Did you place your first catheter? High five yourself. Keep a record of your achievements to look back on when you're feeling low. Remember that competence is built over time, through practice, and yes, through making mistakes. Be kind to yourself and trust the process. Many of us who are drawn to medicine, whether human or veterinary, are perfectionists. We have an innate desire to get everything right, to know every answer, and to perform every procedure flawlessly. In vet school and in clinical practice, this pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing. You will be faced with situations where there is no single perfect answer. Medicine is often a gray area, a world of probabilities and educated guesses. You have to learn to be comfortable with uncertainty and to make the best decision you can with the information you have at that moment. I remember agonizing over my first treatment plans. I would research for hours, trying to find the absolute perfect protocol, worried that I would miss something. What I learned, especially in the fast-paced environment of a clinic, is that a good plan enacted today is better than a perfect plan enacted tomorrow. Sometimes you have to make a call, trust your training, and move forward. Waiting for absolute certainty can mean losing valuable time for your patient. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means being decisive and adaptable. This principle also applies to your studies. It is impossible to learn every single detail in your textbooks. If you try, you will burn out. You have to learn to prioritize high-yield information. Focus on understanding the core concepts, the why behind the what. It's better to have a solid, functional understanding of 80% of the material than a fleeting, surface-level memorization of 100%. Learn to accept that good enough is often, well, good enough. Give yourself grace. You will make mistakes. Every single veterinarian has. The goal is not to be perfect, but to learn from those mistakes and continuously strive to be better. So there you have it. The real, unfiltered advice I wish I had before starting vet school. It's a demanding, exhausting, and financially draining path. But despite all the challenges we've talked about today, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. The privilege of being able to heal animals, to support the human-animal bond, and to be a part of this incredible profession is worth every late night and every moment of self-doubt. This journey will challenge you, but it will also build you into a stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate person than you ever thought possible. My hope is that by sharing my experiences, I can help you navigate your own journey with a little more confidence and a little less anxiety. Remember to pace yourself, lean on your community, Take care of your emotional well-being and practice your communication skills. Be smart about your finances, fight back against imposter syndrome, and let go of the need to be perfect. These are the lessons that will truly serve you, not just in school, but throughout your entire career as a doctor of veterinary medicine. You are embarking on one of the most incredible adventures of your life. Be proud of how far you've come and excited for everything you're about to learn. If you have any more questions or want to share your own experiences, please drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share it with a future vet who might need to hear this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.